Hey everybody, it's Tyler Austin. Thank you so much for watching. Just want to make a super quick video discussing why AK magazines are curved the way they are. A lot of people don't understand why AK magazines, particularly 7.62 magazines, have such a significant curve to them. A lot of people just don't understand why, and some people just think it's like a stylist thing or a fashion statement that they're just that way because they were designed that way. That's not the case at all. There is a very specific reason why AK mags have that curve to them, and that is due to the nature and design of the cartridge, again, particularly with 7.62 by 39. 7.62 by 39 has something what's known as a tapered case, so it is wider in the back than it is on the front, so the casing tapers down as the casing approaches the bullet, if you will. And that taper has many benefits, particularly when it comes to the reliability of feeding and especially extraction out of the chamber after firing. However, one of the downsides to a tapered cartridge, tapered casing, is that due to the geometry of it, when you stack those rounds on top of each other, they're going to develop a curve, the taller you stack them. So in order to have in order to feed those cartridges through a magazine reliably, that the magazine has to have that curve to it in order to accommodate the curve that the tapered casings are going to produce as you stack, rounds on top of each other. So that is why 7.62 magazines in particular have such a significant curve to them. And you can see this throughout, obviously AK magazines, the AK being the most popular rifle that uses 7.62 by 39 cartridge. But if you take like ARs that shoot 7.62 by 39 as well, and they have those weird like AR magazines that are designed for 7.62 by 39, they also have that very significant taper to them as well. If you didn't have this taper, the rounds would jam inside the magazine as you try to feed it up into the rifle. So that is why 7.62 magazines have, or AK magazines in general, have that pretty significant taper to them. And, it's considered a disadvantage because of the odd geometry it makes for the magazine, particularly makes it harder. It doesn't affect function, obviously, or anything like that, loading the magazine, but it does make it awkward to put it into pouches in particular. So that's really the disadvantage that comes to that curved magazine, and it's hard to, because they're not straight, it takes up more space relative to a straight magazine or a more straighter magazine like an AR magazine or like a 308 magazine, etc. If we take a look at quickly just an AR magazine is pretty straight. It does have a slight curve to it, and that's because although 5.56 is generally considered more of a straight wad cartridge, it doesn't have much of a taper to it. It does have a slight taper to it, and therefore that's why the AR magazine is straighter but still has a slight curve to it. You can also see this in 5.45 magazines as well for AKs. 5.45 magazines, or 5.45 as a cartridge, it does have a taper to it, but it's not as significant as 7.62 by 39. And also 5.45 being a smaller casing, requiring a smaller casing, the magazines don't have to be as long either. Same thing for 5.56 magazines. The magazines don't have to be as long in order to hold 30 rounds because the casings are slightly smaller. Therefore, it reduces the curve on it as well. So that's why AK mags have that curve to it. It's not a style thing. It's not a fashion statement. It has to have that curve in order for the magazines to function reliably while feeding 7.62 by 39. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, informative, and entertaining. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, or follow depending on where you're watching this. You can follow me on Instagram at Tyler_Midgard Strength, and I am also on Zion. My two community pages are Midgard Strength and Conditioning and Gungnir Strategic. You can scan their respective codes here or search for them on the community search page. If you like my strength and conditioning content, check out my podcast, the Classical Strength Podcast, available on all major podcast platforms. Finally, if you would like to become stronger and healthier than you've ever been in your life, consider hiring me as your coach. I offer the most effective and personalized online coaching in the industry. So if that's something that would interest you, visit my website, midgardstrength.com, or you can email me directly at tyler@midgardstrength.com. Thanks for watching.